Good morning, guys. Welcome in. Welcome. Happy Monday. Good morning. I hope you guys had a nice weekend. Welcome in. A lot of things happening this morning. Really not much, but we're going to talk about what could happen, right? And we're going to talk about where the opportunities, I believe, lie today. So I hope you all had a nice weekend. I hope you're all well rested. And I hope you're ready to dive into today's session. Welcome in, guys. Welcome in. So we're not going to waste any time this morning. It's Monday. Monday is always, it's my opinion, it is the most important part of the week. It is the most important day of the week. And so the reason why is because we're setting up a thesis here. Okay. So let me just get everything together. You know what? I can't see my OBS. Let me move my OBS over here. Let's move it on this side, and then we'll be in good shape. Okay. Yeah. Now we're good. Okay, cool. So, yeah, there we go. Awesome. You guys can see my screen? Yes? Yeah, they can. Okay, cool. So, we're going to talk about the market at all-time highs. Because the market has slowly found its way back to all-time highs yet again, into year-end essentially. And we are right here. And it looks like, again, strong this time. And it looks like this market wants to go. It looks like the market wants to break it. And we're going to talk about where the next level of supply is in front of us, which is right here, right on the market. You can see we are just trading back into a major leg of supply. The previous all-time high here in the market, we are right there on S&P 500. Right? You can see we're right at 690, which is the all-time high here in SPY. So this is a very, very big level to discuss this morning. And we're going to talk about where the opportunities are today here in SPY chart. We're also going to discuss how the SPY is right now. We are approximately, you can just do the math here, right? Just look at the little measurement thing here. You can see we are approximately half a percent point from all-time highs, even less than that, about 0.46% from all-time highs, or $3.14 in the all-time high level on the SPY. Whereas on the QQQ, it's a bit different here, right? In the Qs, you can see we are a bit more extended from all-time highs. We're about 1.74% from all-time highs, almost $11. So big discrepancy between the SPY and Qs this morning. Not just this morning, but also just larger time frame, larger time, the 1 hour chart, the 4 hour chart, daily chart, right? We are showing a clear resiliency in SPY, strength in SPY, and some slow names lagging behind on the QQQ. So that's going to be an important discussion this week, and we'll find out really why that's happening, okay? All right, we're also going to go over our Nvidia charts. Nvidia, obviously, a big one for this week. Nvidia has been the reason why the market, in my opinion, Qs has been lagging. QQQ, big levels, and the question is, can Nvidia break out? Because if Nvidia does break out this week, and I know there's a lot of levels on my chart, but if Nvidia can begin to break out, that's going to cause this SP 500 to move much more, or really Qs to make up that difference, the discrepancy between SPY, right? So is there going to be a makeup move on tech to accelerate the upside move on SPY and accelerate the upside move on Qs to make it so they're basically tracking each other, right? So again, let's see what happens today. Nvidia, big one to watch out for. AMD also big. Amazon, you can say AMD obviously weak. Amazon strong. You have Apple, who's also been a bit weak on Friday. Friday session showed some strength, got some upside, but then failed back below, and on this Monday morning showing weakness. So let's discuss it, guys. Some big things happening this morning. Let's dive into our charts. Before we do that, I want to go into our econ data, earnings reports, and we'll go back into our charts, and we'll have a beautiful session here on this Monday morning. So today is December 8th. It is Monday. In this morning, we do have some earnings reports this week. Okay, so starting off with today in the after hours, we have Toll Brothers, which is a construction builder, right? They build houses, nothing crazy there. Tuesday, we have Campbell's Soup. Who's trading Campbell's Soup? I don't know who's trading Campbell's Soup, But if you are, you probably got bigger problems. You're probably not here on this pre-market stream. On Tuesday, you have GameStop, GME. On Tuesday after hours, you have Cracker Barrel as well. Cracker Barrel. If you're trading Cracker Barrel again, same idea as Toll Brothers and Campbell's, right? You probably got bigger fish to fry. So obviously some smaller names reporting here on Tuesday. Wednesday session, Chewy. You have Oracle, ORCL, Adobe big. Those are the two big ones this week on Wednesday session. And Thursday session, you have Broadcom, Avgo, Lulu, Costco. So I would say the big sessions you're seeing in front of us are Wednesday and they are Thursday, right? Both in the after hours Wednesday and the after hours Thursday. Those appear to be the biggest ones for our earnings reports this week, okay? In terms of our economic side, the economic side you can see this week is important, right? And if we refresh this, let's do a refresh here. Refresh this. We are missing something big here. Where is it? Oh, there it is. It's right here. Okay, we have Wednesday data. Okay, so I was wondering where it was. I have my other chart up over here, Market Watch. It's a little bit different. But you can see Monday session, nothing's happening on Monday. But Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, things begin to accelerate and accelerate all the way up to the point where we're going full force on Thursday, Friday, right? So you can see Monday session, nothing happening today. Tuesday, we have JOLTS job openings, so that's going to be an important metric to watch out for. Tuesday at 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock data is going to be interesting on that Tuesday session. Wednesday, the 10th, we have some employment data coming in at 8:30. But that's not the big one. The big one, as you guys know, is the 2 p.m. FOMC announcement. It's an FOMC day on Wednesday. We've seen this before. You guys have seen FOMC probably a million times. So understand it's going to be probably a bit more of a choppy consolidation session on Monday, Tuesday, then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Things begin to get fun, right? So be aware of that 2 p.m. on FOMC. 2 p.m. on Wednesday, FOMC, okay? Thursday, more data. Friday, more data. We'll get there when we get there. Not important for today's session. Let's dive into our charts, okay? So let's start off with our first ticker of today's session. Let's talk about the S&P 500. We'll go over what's going on here in the chart. So first of all, I'm going to toot my horn for a second. If you guys recall, we spoke about, this is what we were saying. How many of you guys, you can say no. You can say no. But you know what? Don't say actually. No, don't say no. Say yes. How many of you guys remember when we spoke about longing the market back over here when we said the market's going to go back to all-time highs? Right? Remember we said the market's go back to all-time highs. We said it right over here at this low over here. We said that the market's forming uptrend, and the chances are we see a tap into highs before year end. And that thesis that we gave out on the live stream almost 2 weeks ago, that's what happened, right? And here's my view now. I'll give you what my view is now. And that was a speculative view. It was a very speculative view. I'm going to give you one more speculative view now. My next speculation here on the market. Again, some people may choose to not want to hear the speculation. And there's a strong argument as for why you don't want to hear speculation. So mute me for a second if you don't want to hear the speculation. But I'm going to draw it out, so you have to probably look away from the screen too. But this is what I'm thinking is going to happen here in a larger time frame. I'm thinking that we probably do break the highs. I think that we see a rejection here first. We form a swing low somewhere around the 680s, maybe even 675s, right? And we see a break at the all-time highs. I think this is what's going to happen here in the market. I don't know exactly how far we're going to go, but we need to form a better swing low because right now the swing low we're forming right now is not good enough. We need to see a proper swing low formation at the 679.5s or even the 675s, and then we can see a nice upside break of the highs, and we'll see a probably year end almost 700, right? And again, I'm not saying by December. I'm not saying December 31st, 700, but I'm saying probably before year end, we'll see at least one break of all-time highs. So that's my expectations here in the market. Now, again, I do want to see a swing low develop. And from a that's speculation, but from a technical perspective, I do think a swing low is valid here in the market. You've seen that so far that when we do grind higher into all-time highs like this, it doesn't get good, right? You can see the market does tend to lose its groundings at all-time highs. And this is where we are right now. We're back at the all-time high level, and this is where the market has found its resistance, right? And so we still haven't seen a big sell day, right? In fact, all of last week, starting from really Monday or Tuesday of last week, Tuesday the 20th, wait a second, this is all the way from 2 weeks ago, right? You can see for the last 2 weeks of price action, 12 days of price action here on the market, we've seen slow consolidation and barely any upside move. In fact, from where we are, from Friday the 28th of November to where we are, the high of that day, to where we are right now on the market, we are only up $2.89. So the market has technically structured higher ever since the big extension move higher above the daily 21 SMA. But we haven't seen any of these days where the market just does a flash sell and reversal dip buy up. And this, in my opinion, is what I would be looking for this week. If we got a flash sell, a deeper pullback into our demand, I would be looking for that for alongside entries. So the one thing I'll say here is let's not be long at all-time highs here, okay? This is where things become tricky. This is where traders lose their money, is when we start longing back at all-time highs. My only longs in the market are going to be back above the all-time highs, which again would be 690 flat on the penny. 690 flat on the penny is the all-time high level. So above the all-time high level, we can look for extension moves higher here on the market, or we can wait for a flash sell dip buy around 679.5 or even around 675 on the market. And those are larger time frame levels here. These are larger time frame levels. So let's zoom into smaller time frame for a second. Okay, so that's the larger time frame. Larger time frame is we expect an all-time high break. Larger time frame is we look for dips to buy, and the two dips to buy are green band 1, green band 1, and green band 2. Those are the two areas I'll be looking for longs. Now, where does my bias change? My bias changes if we flip back underneath this level. If we lose this level here, the daily 21 SMA lining up right over here, as well as my green band, I am no longer bullish. In fact, I flip back to a bear bias and I look for the downside move back in the market. Okay, so that's my flip in the market. But as of right now, there's no reason to be talking about flips because we're strong, right? But we're strong into a supply zone. You saw some signs of what happens in the supply on Friday session. In fact, you saw it pretty aggressively, right? You saw us move into supply, consolidation, then downside move. Again, the problem is we have all these landmines above us, right? There's a landmine here, there's a landmine there, and there's a landmine here. This is where things become extremely tricky as traders. Trading into all-time highs is probably the most difficult part of my trading because I'm a continuation trader. I trade on continuations. When the market sits at all-time highs, it tends to have unfavorable conditions for continuations, right? We tend to see oftentimes reversion trades, right? We push higher, we reverse, downside move, right? So again, be careful of supply 690 to 688.5. That's your big supply zone. In fact, 688 is your daily, is your ES 6900 level, right? So you know that there is some big things ahead of us. And here in the ES chart, just to get a view here, you can see we are again at the all-time highs. We're simply right there. In fact, the ES chart is a bit further away from all-time highs, though. You can see it's 0.95% of all-time highs here. But again, and the reason why is because this is an after-hours move here. But this is, yet again, another reason to be understanding the fact that we are just trading back into supply. So here's my view. If we clear 6,900 ES here, we should see a move back into these highs over here, which is the all-time high here in ES's chart. So you have almost a $50 potential upside here above the ES highs, above this level, which should give you some upside here on the SPY chart. And so where is that on SPY to correlate it back? Well, here's what it is, right? If we do break and hold above 688 here on the SPY chart, we should see 690, right? It's not that crazy. It's really not that much juice here. For me, I would even have a hard time buying that, right? I would have a hard time buying a break and hold above 688 because where are we going to? All-time highs. I'm trading a $2 move to all-time highs. It's just not that. There's not that much meat in the bone here, right? So for the meat in the bone trades, we're looking for a dip and rip, a dip and rip. Now there is a small level here in the SPY chart to discuss as well. It's 684. I said 679.5. I said 675, but there also is 684, which is the low of Friday session. It's also a very important level. So keep that in mind. I know I'm talking about levels all over the place, but again, it's a Monday session. Mondays are for data collections. Mondays are for us to get our understanding of the market as it sits. And for right now, I have level 1, I have level 2, and I have level 3, and I have level 4. It's a very, very open-ended session. We just don't know what's going to happen yet. The market's obviously bullish. We're looking for dips, but we're back at all-time highs. It is not the most easy. It's not the most. It's not that session. You go into Mondays open. You say, I know exactly what's going to happen today, because we just don't know what's going to happen until, really, frankly, until it happens. So supply above and demand below. That's what I'm seeing this morning here on the SPY and ES chart. Qs. On the QQQ chart, again, this is probably a bit better of a chart than ES because you can see it in SPY because we have room to all-time highs here, right? This chart, as long as we're above 624, is bullish and likely grinds higher back into 638, right? And you can see 638 is at all-time high level. We have the trend flip. We're back above the golden zone. So my bias here on the Qs is actually really easy, right? Look at the chart. I can tell you that as long as we're above 624, I'm bullish here. Therefore, my top watch today is going to be, can we break above the highs of Friday session? If so, look for longs above that level, right? If we break above these highs here, I'm looking for a break, a retest, an upside move. Or I'm looking for the pullback long to 624. So a very black and white session here, right? We have two setups here that I'm watching. It's longs over here. It's longs over there. That's what it is today here in the Qs. And the question is, how could you be so clear on Qs, but have such a lack of clarity on SPY? Well, again, just to recap this, right? Look how far away we are from all-time highs, right? We have room here. There's meat on the bone to trade. There is some upside potential here. In fact, if you measure where we are to all-time highs, there is another $10 to all-time highs here in Qs. Whereas on the SPY chart, it's not that much, right? We're just actually sitting literally $3.16 from all-time highs. There's not much room here on the SPY. Therefore, I think we should be aware of that going into today's session. Okay, so that's what it is today here in Qs, SPY, ES. Let's dive into our individual equities and we'll get a better view of the market. Okay, let's start off with Nvidia. So Nvidia is one of my top watches this week. And the reason why is because it was sleeping last week. Now, normally I would talk about a ticker because it was showing some sort of display, some sort of relative outperformance, some sort of something that was holding it either more strong or weaker than the overall market. But here on Nvidia's chart actually was doing nothing last week. And why would I be watching it that did nothing last week? The only reason why I would was because it was holding above its previous leg of lows. So you have a low here, we have a low here, we have a low here, and we have a low here. So I am watching something very simple here on Nvidia. I am watching for either this. I'm watching for us to, one, break out of the range here and show me which direction it's going to go. If you go to the 15-minute time frame here on the Nvidia chart, you're going to see there is a low. There's a low here around 181, and there is a high here around 185.50, right? These are the two most important levels on this chart. You can see that we've been in range for a few days in a row now, right? We've been sort of in this larger range here for a few days in a row. I am watching to see, can we get back above this supply zone, this 185.50? Because if we do, Nvidia is going to play catch up with the overall market, and we can look for longs back into that crazy extension move higher, which is around 197 and change. So I'm looking to see, can we do a little bit of a break, a retest, an upside move higher on this market back at 197. That's my top watch today on Nvidia. Likewise, in complete opposite bias, because it's a consolidation and because we don't have bias here, I can look for a move under 179 for the break, really 180, actually 180. Look at, see this low right here? 180 is a move to watch, 180. You see 180 right there, that low right there, Thursday session. Under, I was gonna say 179.20, but technically I'll under that as a PT. So 179.20 to 179 would be a PT. Under that low, we get back into these lows over here. So I would say it's not the under 180 is not the nail in the coffin. It's really under 179 is the nail in the coffin. We can short it under either this whole zone here is where I'd be watching for shorts, right? If we can clear underneath this zone, right? I'm looking for us to continue down lower, right? So that's my main watch this morning. Is going to be, can we break either above the range or below the range? In which case, I'm looking for continuation in either direction, right? Either this or this. Upside or downside. In no environment am I getting involved in between the zone between 179 and 185. Okay, so that's my two things to watch here this morning. Is going to be either above the highs or below the lows. But again, top watch in the video. We just have to see what it's going to do on this beautiful Monday morning. Okay, but again, if it does break range, I would expect continuation in either direction. Moving on, Apple. So the Apple chart on Apple, I had a long on Friday session, and I got some upside. You can see it did work, right? We saw some upside, a little bit of V shape on Monday, but didn't really do much on Monday. And now we're back beneath my level here on Friday session. Now on Monday session, we're back beneath it, right? So what am I watching now on this Monday session? Well, we are now failing a breakout here. This to me is not so good on this Apple chart. The reason why is because my bias is this level right here. And if we are above the level, I am bullish. And if you're below level, I'm bearish. So right now on this Apple chart, I'm expecting lower as long as we are under 279. And where are we going to? Likely back in at 276. So that's my expectation here, is that the Apple chart does move back into 276 as long as you're under this low right here, which is 279. So is there a short opportunity? Yeah, you could probably short this. If you see us continue to reject here off the opening bell, you can look for shorts and a downside move. But for me, my main watch now is going to be, do we move back into 275, 276? And if we do, I'm looking for a dead cat bounce here at these lows. So my top watch is this morning session going to be 275 to 276 demand bounce if we do pull back there. Again, you could look for shorts into it, right? Get the downside move into it. But again, the one thing you don't want to do though is I don't think you want to be short into 275. And the reason why I'm saying that is because you're seeing how beautiful the consolidation highs are over here. You can see consolidation highs, a breakout, a retest, an upside move. Now, obviously 279 was important last week, but equal to this level is this 275. So be cautious of 275 today going into our Monday morning session, right? Big demand below, big supply above. Okay, let's move on to some other names. Let's go over AMD. AMD chart. AMD is weak, and this is the thing, guys. It's just like the Nvidia chart, right? You're seeing a clear underperformance on AMD and underperformance on Nvidia. If you want clarity on the market going into Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday this week, look to see what the laggy names are doing last week, because obviously we know what the strong names are doing. We know Meta's strong, right? We know Meta's strong already, and that's a given. But look at the weak names of last week. The weak names are Nvidia. The weak names are AMD. And right now, this morning, it looks pretty lackluster. But going into Monday morning, 15 minutes, 20 minutes to market open, if we start seeing a clear trend develop on these charts, then we can get a better gauge of what SPY is going to do starting off the week. As of right now, we are underneath my major pivot here, 220. So I would say let's be sort of cautious of that, right? 220 is a big supply zone. So if we can build 220, then look for upside back in 225. But if you fail 220, which again is the level that we are failing right now in the pre-market session, we're going back into 213. Okay, so that's what it is going into our Monday morning. So it's really all developed around 220. If we're above it, bullish. If we're below it, bearish. And where are we right now here on the AMD chart? You can see we are right at 220. And if you don't believe me, why is 220 so important? Well, look how the market has responded to 220 day in and day out. You can see resistance here, support there, resistance, break and fail, right? So again, it's a very important level here, 220. Let's not forget how important 220 is. Okay, if above bull, below bear, that's all we have here on this chart. What about the SMH? The overall chip sector is completely different from AMD and Nvidia. And this is something that we're not used to. We're not used to seeing that Nvidia is strong and SMH is weak, or vice versa. In this case, it's vice versa. SMH is obviously very strong here, and it held our level last week. I remember the exact low we said maintained last week, and it's still grinding higher. What is holding the SMH higher? Well, it's your AVGO. It's AVGO, it's your TSM, right? It's your other names outside of Nvidia and AMD. So I think that if you are a chip trader, spending some time trading your TSM, your AVGOs, even your MUs, right? It's not a bad idea. I mean, these names are holding much stronger than Nvidia and AMD. And where are your levels here in AVGO? Well, they're on the levels. We're at all-time highs here. So AVGO is at new all-time highs. TSM this morning. We don't usually go over these names. We don't usually discuss how important these names are. But this morning, you're seeing that they are really important. They are holding so much better than your Nvidia and AMD. And here this morning, you're seeing TSM is right back into a huge trend line, 300 cycle level and trend line. So could this be a watch for traders who want to trade TSM? Yeah, absolutely, right? 300 as a main watch if we're above bull, below bear. If we clear 300, you know where we're going to 309, 310. Very big level here on TSM. Same idea with MU, right? Look at the MU chart. MU is at a pivot this morning as well. You can see the 244.50 area on TSM, 244 to 244.50. You can see above that level, we're going back to all-time highs here. So I'm not a big MU trader. I'm not a big Avgo trader. I'm not a big TSM trader. But again, these are the moments where you probably should be. These are the moments you probably should be looking for these other smaller chip names. And I wouldn't even say that much smaller. MU is still a big company, right? It's still a very big beta name. But you're seeing the display here. The display here on these chip names are showing strength as compared to Nvidia and AMD. So again, I'm not just shit talking these names. I'm just saying that there is clear outperformance on some names within the semiconductor sector. Okay, let's move on. Amazon. So Amazon, long-term thesis here is still bullish, and the reason why is because we're developing a swing low here, 227. My bull bear pivot here on Amazon is 227. If we're above it, bullish. If we're below it, bearish. Now, look, this is not a sexy stock right now. It's not. By all means, this is not a sexy stock, and I understand that. And in fact, if we do clear under 227, I think I would flip to a bear bias here on Amazon, and I would stop out of my shares. So I longed Amazon shares here, right? And I sold here, and then my trail stop is now here. So right now, my trail stop on Amazon is at the exact moment where it turns from a bull bias to a bear bias. And that is the definition of a good trail stop, okay? You have a low here, you have a higher low here, and we have a higher low developed right here at 227. Is it gonna hold 227 and continue in its overall uptrend doing this? Or do we fail back below 227 and see a downside move under these lows and then back into this 215 area? So again, Amazon, that's the big level today, 227 bull bear pivot. Guys, yes, we have 1,100 people here this morning. It's Monday morning. Like the stream if you guys can. It's the only thing I ask for is to like the stream. I don't ask for anything else besides that. So please hit me up with a like if you guys can. Okay, let's move on. Let's go over a few more names. What are we missing? Palantir. So Palantir 170 is your bull bear pivot. At this point, if we're above 170, you know where we're going to, right? This is a storybook, and it's like you're opening a book. This is a storybook, and we're opening the book halfway into its story, okay? Now we know where we're going to. We're going to 188 at this point. The question is, where's your entry? In my opinion, your entry should have been on Wednesday or Thursday last week. There is no entry anymore on Palantir. If 170 breaks, it's going back in 188, and that's what's happening here. It should, in theory, move back, trade back into the 188s. Okay, but again, you can't just say this. You can't just do this now. You can't just say Brett says this goes back into 188, so I can long right now, market open. No, it's because where's your risk now? Your risk is what? All the way back to 170, right? You can't risk this much to make this much. It's not worth it anymore, right? So at this point, your expectations are 188, but where's the entry? The entry is not until, I would say, let's go back into the smaller time frame here. Not back until, I would argue, into the high of that Wednesday or Thursday session. You could see where's that Thursday high? Thursday high is here at 178. So I mean, for me, I would like, this is the thing is I can try to make out levels over here, but I know that these are small intraday levels. My big level is 170. My big level is 188. So if you want to look for short-term plays here, watch the 177. It's a short-term idea, but again, I'm going to put it as a dotted line or dashed line. It's not my colossal zone. This is a smaller level. Yes, does it probably hold intraday? Sure. Does it give you a dollar to dollar reaction? Probably, right? You see probably a little upside off this level, but does it eventually crack? Maybe, right? So this is not as titanium, right? Not as titanium as my level here and my level here, right? Big levels versus a small level. For intraday time frame trades, look for the 177.5, 177 demand bounce, okay? That's what I have here on Palantir's chart. Okay, let's go over a few more. We're missing some big ones. Netflix. So Netflix is a mover, and one of the reasons why is because of that HBO acquisition. And so you have to expect that Netflix probably does have some more volatility. Netflix probably does have some headline risk, right? But I do think that for me at Netflix, my main focus here is going to be, can I get a long-term dip buy? My long-term dip buy level is 94. So I know it's actually not that far away, guys. All this requires is one bad headwind on Netflix. And if we get one bad headwind on Netflix, I'm buying shares here. So I'm waiting for that. I'm waiting for the moment where Netflix gets one bad headwind and I'm buying it at my level. And if I miss it, that's fine. I want this level. This is the level I'm watching here. And you guys know it. I'll say it here in live. I'll signal it in the chat if we do get this level. But again, it's 94 and change. 94 to 93 and change. That's my top watch here, Netflix. In terms of short-term trades here, I don't trade Netflix short term, and I don't think there is anything. I don't really think there is much opportunity here in the short term. Perhaps you can watch the 104 rejection trades, but even that, it's not looking A plus here on the short term. Let's go over Tesla. Last ticker, guys. We'll do Tesla, and we'll finish off here. So Tesla's chart. Tesla is doing what? Tesla is in the what is the word here? I'm forgetting what it is. Where is Tesla right now? I'm losing my mind here. Where's Tesla? Tesla's in the zone. What's the zone called? Do you guys remember? Does anybody remember? The dust storm, guys. It's in the dust storm. Where is everybody? It's a no man's land. Okay, but it's the dunes. There we go. I was looking for the word. I couldn't even find it myself. The dunes, the sandstorm, the dust storm, whatever you want to call it. It's there, right? And this is the problem with Tesla, is that you have so many areas where this could potentially reject. And yes, it is still bullish. Let's not change the fact that it's still bullish. And if it's a bull chart, you long demand, you long breakouts, right? That's what you do in a bull chart. So Tesla, I do believe that if you are longing this name, you're looking for 436 for a top watch for demand bounce, or you're looking for a build above last week's highs, above 458, right, for alongside move back and highs. So I do agree, this is a bull chart. There's no way to change that. But you're in areas where the market has shown you it's lack of clarity, right? There's so many areas where I can draw levels and levels and levels and levels. And the problem when you have so many levels on a chart is this. If I go long Tesla right now, I don't know if it's going to reject here, there, here, or there. I just don't really know. And for that reason, we stay risk adverse on names like this. So if you want to look for a dip and rip, my main dip and rip watch though, and this would be a top watch on Tesla, this would be actually a good trade, would be the 436 dip and rip. 436 dip and rip would be a top watch. Why? It's the high from that Monday, Tuesday session. If you do pull back there, it's a long-term opportunity, right? It's a long opportunity on the short term, right? A long opportunity in the short term. Or a break above the highs. I mean, this again is a long, but it's not a long that I would really be involved in because again, you have so many levels to contend with. Guys, that's it for me today. Look, it's Monday morning. Get your data, right? Get your data, get a read of the market. Even for myself, you guys are probably noticing it, right? There's some days where I come in with very good clarity. I say, this is what we're watching on SPY, guys. This is what we're watching in Qs. And there's some names where I go and I show you Nvidia and I say, there's resistance here and there's support there, right? That's what I've done today. That's literally all I've done this Monday morning. And if there's anything to get from the session, it's take your time going into Monday morning, right? Get a view, get a read the market, and then execute when you see something that fits your system, okay? Have a happy and safe trading session. I'll see you guys all on live. Bye, guys.